Two of the most important aspects of your 401k, how you contribute and how you invest. This is James Studinger with Wealth as a Choice. Vanguard just released their 2025 report, How America Saves. I found it really interesting. And they touch on those two aspects of people's 401ks. They have about 5 million 401k participants, so they've got a big draw of people to pool from. First, on how you contribute. They saw that 18% of participants put money into the Roth 401k as opposed to the pre-tax 401k. And they celebrated this as a win. They're drawing from about a 12% participation rate into the Roth a few years ago. So they're seeing the 6% increase into the Roth as a really good, big improvement. And it is an improvement, but to me, it's really far off. That means about 82% of America is still not saving into the 401k as a Roth. And not only is 82% not saving at all into the Roth, but even those 18% of people, they were saving partially into the Roth and partially into a pre-tax account. So they hadn't fully committed. Here's a real simple, easy thing to remember. And it's one of the big reasons why we think the Roth is so powerful. We have some of the lowest tax rates in our country since the Great Depression. So that's like going on 100 years almost. And we have the worst fiscal balance sheet in the history of our country. You take those two things combined, and I think it would be illogical to assume that tax rates are going to be lower for you in the future. Maybe they are, but I think it would be illogical to assume that. And besides, there is nothing better than tax-free income, in my opinion. And when you're retired and you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, it is so much nicer to withdraw from an account that you don't have to pay any of it to taxes, no matter what your tax bracket rate is, versus if you have to give a chunk of it away to the government. We're really big believers on the Roth 401k is the way to go for everybody, or maybe just about everybody. We have a lot of videos on our website to get deeper into why we think that's so important. At our firm, from the conversations we've had and what we track with our clients, 100% of our planning clients are saving as a Roth into the 401k and have been for years. We think it's extremely important that people do that. Listen, I'm 53 years old. When I got started in my career with like a lot of people, we didn't have a Roth 401k option at work. We had pre-tax savings and we had a little bit of money we were allowed to put into a Roth outside of work. And if you made too much money, you weren't even allowed to put money into that Roth IRA outside of work. And so these things have been ingrained in us, pre-tax 401k, a little bit of Roth outside of work. And even though the world has changed dramatically in terms of where we can save our money, people haven't adjusted to that change. We think everybody should contribute as a Roth. We think America's a little bit behind on that. So learn more about it. You can go to our website. You can see the videos that we have there. The second thing that they pinpointed is, and they celebrated this too, which is over 80% of the participants invest in the target retirement date funds. Now, within their same report, they also emphasize that it's possible that these target retirement date investments are underperforming individual selection inside the 401k. And here's an example. They looked at the upper end of returns on portfolios inside the 401k. And what they found was the target date performance upper end was lower than the participant accounts that didn't use the target date investments. They had a higher upper end capture ratio. And they also highlighted that a lot of these people that were participating outside of the target date retirement funds had larger account balances. And so where in the report they really celebrated this adoption of the target date retirement investment strategy, in reality, within the same report, they showcased that that might not be delivering the best returns for people. I've never been a big fan of target retirement date funds. I call it dummying down the 401k. And I encourage people to look at all of the investment options inside their 401k and choose the ones that are best for them, even if it's a little bit more complicated and takes more time to do so. A 401k should be one of your most powerful investment assets in your lifetime. And we think it deserves a little bit of education, a little bit of digging into, and make sure that you're utilizing today's best tools and features available to do that. One, we think, is participating as a Roth. And two, is to look outside of just the target retirement date funds. You might have some really good choices in there. We've got lots of videos that dig deeper into it on our website. Feel free to check them out. Follow us on our podcast, Wealth is a Choice podcast. And as always, give us a call if you have any questions or want to talk further. Thank you.